What's up, YouTube? We're on day 22 of 90, baby, with our 520 push-up routine. We're going to turn our podcast on. We got this one. Is how to become better than yesterday and constantly improve your situation, even if you're in the worst stage of your life, by Jim Rohn.
We're all aware that many people
30.
feel that we must be careful of focusing on money or affluence or abundance. That in it, or in the pursuit of it, there is danger. We often hear quoted from the Bible, the love of money is the root of all evil. And I do agree. If you make money your love, and you pursue affluence to the exclusion of, or at the expense of, other values of life, you have lost, not
29.
won. However, let us consider this question. If you could do better, should you? That's not a bad question. In the time allotted to labor, in the time given to economics, care for family, success, achievement, productivity, the creation of value, the development of skills and creativity, if you could do better, should you?
You've got more brain power than you've used so far. You've got more potential than you've used so far. You've
28.
got more strength than you've possibly used so far. No telling how many languages you can learn. No telling how far you can go. No telling how strong you can get until you get busy working on yourself and see if you can't tap all of your full potential. People might have put you down in the past. I'm telling you, those days are over. People that have told you you're too short. People that have told you you're too tall, you're too old, you're too young. I'm telling you, the old idea about your limitations of the past, those days
Sound
are
like we
gone
heard this one
forever.
before, but it's cool to re-listen.
Get better. There's many
27.
of us that can't get better. So turn on this whole idea of personal development and personal growth. That was what my teacher shared with me that changed my life. I'm telling you, for things to get better, you got to get better. Don't ask for it to change out there. Ask for you to change here. Don't ask for a more favorable wind. We call that naive. Don't ask for better seed, better soil. This is the only planet you got. Just ask that you can get wiser and stronger and better and be able to take care of your own responsibilities. Every day in 1,000 different ways, we are trying to improve ourselves
26.
by learning how to do things. We spend a lifetime gathering knowledge in classrooms, in textbooks, in experiences. Now, if knowledge is power, if knowledge is the forerunner to success, then why do we fall short of our objectives? Why, in spite of all our knowledge and in spite of our collective experiences, do we find ourselves aimlessly wandering, settling for a life of existence rather than a life of substance? While there may be many answers to this question, the fundamental answer is the absence
25.
of discipline. Applying all that we know. That's the key word, discipline. Self-discipline. We might add one more word here, consistent. Consistent self-discipline. Better than knowledge is applied knowledge. And once we've applied our knowledge, we must study the results of that process. Apply our knowledge, study the results. Refine our approach. Finally, by trying and observing
24.
and refining and trying again, our knowledge will inevitably produce worthy results, admirable results. And with the joy and results of our efforts, we continue to apply, to learn, to observe, to fuel our ambition with the positive reinforcement of continued progress. Pretty soon, we'll find that we're swept into a spiral of achievement, a vertical rise to success. But for this whole process to work for us, we must first master the art of discipline,
23.
self-discipline, consistent self-discipline. It takes consistent self-discipline to master the art of setting goals, to master the art of time management, to master the art of leadership, to master the art of parenting and relationships. If we don't make consistent self-discipline part of our daily lives, the results we seek will be sporadic and elusive. The rewards of a disciplined life are great, but they're often delayed until sometime in the future. The rewards for the lack
22.
of discipline are immediate, but they are minor in comparison to the immeasurable rewards of consistent self-discipline. An immediate reward for lack of discipline is a fun day at the beach. A future reward of discipline is owning the beach. For most, we choose today's pleasure rather than tomorrow's fortune. So how can you get rid of the easy distractions? How can you keep your mind on what you're trying to do?
21.
How can you keep an attitude of doing it all and doing it now? How can you make the choice of discipline over procrastination? How can you stay focused on your ambitions? You can keep your focus on your work. You can get it done today instead of tomorrow. You've got to really work on your consistent self-discipline on a daily basis, or you'll find yourself distracted. Distracted by negative thoughts, distracted by negative people, and pretty soon, depending on the type of people you've associated with,
Focus.
distracted by your doubts within yourself. Never underestimate the power of influence and associations. And never underestimate the power of your own consistent self-discipline. My teacher, Mr. Schoaf, who said to me, Mr. Rohn, if you want the future to change for you, you've got to change. And he said, if you don't change, the next 6 years of your life is going to be just like the last 6. You'll still be behind on your bills. You'll still be behind on your promises. But then he gave it to me in the form of a promise. When I was 25 years old, I've remembered it all these years. Young man, if you will change, everything will change for you. If you will get better, everything will get better for you. What a clear message that was for me. He said, if you'll change your philosophy, if you'll change your habits, if you'll refine your thinking, if you'll change and accept some new disciplines, if you'll turn the corner where you've been in the past, go for a new life for the future, he said, all kinds of remarkable things will happen for you if you will change. Before I met Mr. Schoaf, I used to cross my fingers and say, I sure hope things will change. I was hoping the government would change and the tax structure would change.
17.
And my boss would change and pay me more money. This would come down. And I was hoping that circumstances would get better. And then I discovered from my teacher that those things are going to continue the same. In fact, all of those things that happen to us is kind of like the wind that blows. But we must not leave our future just to the
16.
wind, just to the economy. Just to the structure of the way things are happening today. Here's what we must learn to do, and that is set a good sail. And if you'll learn to set a good sail, and that's what my teacher taught me in those early days. He said, Mr. Rohn, the wind is going to blow however it's going to blow. Politics are going to be politics, and the economy is going to be the economy. And however it turns out, that's the way it's going to be. What you must learn to do is not to wish for a better wind. That's naive. The key is to wish for the wisdom and the skills and the learning so that you can set a better sail. And so that's what I did at age 25. I went to work not on the economy. I went to work not on the community. I didn't go to work to try to change the government. I didn't go to work to try to change my boss or the company. I didn't go to work to try to change circumstances. I went to work to try to change myself.
14.
And I picked up that promise. My teacher shared with me that if I would change, my income would change. If I would change, my bank account would change. If I would change, my future would change. And sure enough, his promise came true for me. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. Those pennies in my pocket, nothing in the bank, behind on my promise.
13.
The second 6 years of my economic life, I wound up rich. But interestingly enough, the second 6 years of my economic life, the government was about the same and the economy was about the same. You know, the companies were about the same. What they paid was the same. Circumstances around me were the same.
12.
You know, my negative relatives were the same. But I was not the same. That's how my life changed. Things started working for me, changing my life all those years ago. We don't have to change what's going on out there. That's the wind that's blowing. All we have to do is change what's going on in here.
11.
You'll never be the same. You'll keep growing. As you look back on a few months, look back on a few years, you won't believe the progress you can make. Economically, your relationship with your family, your friends, telling you that whole process of committing yourself for personal change, personal value, can really make your life unique and worthwhile.
10.
Guess what it did? Set for me a new attitude and philosophy. So make this note now. Philosophy determines attitude. If you have the philosophy and the attitude, that here's my chance, even starting part-time, to invest in the idea of fortune making. Because you can lay the foundation for fortune making. You don't have to do it 8 hours a day. You don't have to do it 10. It's not something that requires working around the clock.
25, baby.
It just requires simply a commitment.
100
Here's what I
reps on
did.
the
I
table.
started
Let's go.
part-time. That's the magic.
First set.
So make this note. Teach people the magic of starting to work part-time. Not just to pay a few bills, that's okay, but how about the idea of working part-time fortune making? It changes everything. It changes how you talk. It changes how you invite. It changes how you treat your customers. It changes how you have respect for your distributors, laying the foundation for a career and then a fortune. It changes everything.
75 reps left.
Your attitude. So I think here's what we ought to try to teach. Let's go full-time, part-time. If you're going to dedicate 10 or 15 hours, a week to the business, just fill up those hours with activity and phone calls and flyers and on the internet. It doesn't matter what you do. Start making the contacts, but fill up that 10, 15 hours. Go full-time, part-time. And the appeal to do that is strong if the appeal is, I'm not just working to pay a few bills. That's okay. I'm not just working.
All right. 50 reps left on the table. You can do 5 sets of 10. If you ain't feeling too swell, you feel me? 1 set of 50 if you're feeling amazing. Bust 50 out. You feeling decent? Want to stick to the routine? Keep hammering it. Go ahead, hit 2 sets. 25. Just like me. Let's lock in.
To become financially independent, that is great. I'm working to build a career and someday a fortune. Now here's what's exciting about being part-time. It isn't long until you'll be sitting in a class taught by millionaires. You'll soon be taught by people who've become extraordinarily successful from every walk of life that you can possibly imagine. It's worth that alone to join Herbalife. Just to get in on the training, to see if it won't affect your thinking, your philosophy, your attitude.
25 reps.
And change your life.
Bring it home.
So I met this extraordinary man, Mr. Earl Schoaf. He gave me these opening ideas for changing my life, building my business. It was absolutely incredible. I don't know what your talents are. I don't know what your skills are. But here's what I probably am right on. That you're behind.
Another day in the books,
on
baby.
An accelerated effort toward your full development. I would suggest
day 22 and 90
early
complete.
goals you should set since you're involved in some
reps in
a
the
program
books.
that can help you get there.
Boom out.
The goal